Good morning, Year 11. So let's carry on with our next set of questions. So I hope you've read these questions before we've begun and we can go through them together as quickly as we can. So 6 types of shirts, 4 types of trousers, how many different combinations. So for these ones, I like to do a little gap for how many combinations that are on the first option, which is 6. And then you're going to multiply it by, and now there's a second choice, so I put a little line, and then I'm going to say how many options there are for the second choice, and there are 4 options. So you just multiply the options together at each stage. So pin code uses the numbers 0 to 9. That means there are 10 numbers. If you count 0 up to 9, you've got 10 numbers. So digits can be repeated, so you could have 999. So it's a 4 or 9999 is a 4-digit pin code. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you multiply how many options you have at each stage. For your first digit, you could have 10 different numbers. For the second one, you can also have 10, and so on. So you're going to have 1 and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So 10,000 different options. The next word is a 3-digit lock, again containing the digits 0 to 9. So that's 10 different numbers you could have, different digits. Now no digit can be used more than once. It's a 3-digit pin, so 1, 2, 3. For your first option, you've got all 10 numbers available, but you can't have a repeat. So that means for the next one you now only have 9 options left, and for your next one you only have 8. Times them all together, 720 options. Right, compound interest. So 3%, you're going to add that on to 100, so that's 103%. So that's a 1.03 single multiplier. You take your amount, you times it by your single multiplier, and then this is going to be in the account for 5 years, so you raise it to a power of 5. Put it into your calculator, 2000 times a 1.03 to the power of 5, and then that gives us 2318.548149. Now we need to put that to the nearest penny, 2318.55 rounded. A car depreciates by 14% each year. So if we're depreciating, we're going to take off that 14%. So that's going to get us 86%. So it goes down 14%, so we only have 86% left. Now it says after 3 years it's worth this. Calculate the original. We don't know the original, so I'm just going to put an X in its place for now. But what we do now know is when we depreciate, we're going to take off the percentage from 100 and turn that into a single multiplier. So that's going to get us times 0.86, and it's over 3 years, so the power of 3, and we know that's going to give us an amount now of 15,000. So we're going to do the opposite and divide by the single multiplier, and that's going to give us the original. So 15,000 divided by 0.86 to the power of 3. Okay, 23582.8, and then 3 correctly rounded to the nearest penny. The bottom one, quite straightforward. So it's 30,000 in the town. It's increasing by 3% each year, so 1.03 single multiplier to the power of 2. 30,000 times 1.03 to the power of 2. So that gives us 31827. Okay, on to our next one. This is for higher tier only, so foundation people, you can just skip this section. Although you could practice it for a little bit of substitution if you wanted to. So this says when x is 5, what is the answer to this? Well, we're going to need to do 5 squared plus 3 lots of 5 take away 3. Now you could probably just do that in your head, however you're probably under stress in the exam, you may go wrong, so just use your calculator. 5 squared, add 3 times 5 minus 3 is 37. Now for the next one, this is the inverse, and I'm going to show you what I think is probably going to be easiest for you guys to do in the exam. X has been 4 taken away from it, so it's minus 4, and then it's been divided by 5. If you just write the inverse operations next to it, so the inverse of divide 5 is times by 5, the inverse of minus 4 is to add 4, and then just do that to x. I think you're going to find this a bit easier. So x times by 5 and then add 4. That is the inverse function. So times by 5 and then add the 4. Just do the opposite of those operations. I think you're going to find that easier. Right, f, g and then x. So you're going to put g into f's function. So you're going to put all of this g into f. So instead of x, you're going to write g's function, and it's that squared. We'll expand that bracket out. Remember, that is x minus 4 times another x minus 4. So x times x is x squared. X times minus 4 is minus 4x. Minus 4 times x is minus 4x. Minus 4 times minus 4 is a positive 16. Add it all together. X squared minus 8x, add 16. Okay, probability tree diagrams. Give this a quick read and then we'll go through it. So 7 red, 5 blue counters, 1's taken, not replaced. So you've got 7 reds out of 12. 7 reds out of 12 counters altogether. And then you've got 5 blue out of 12 red. Now it's not replaced, which means if you pick a red, you now only have 6 reds to pick from, and there's only 11 left in there. Blue, you still have 5 blue, but only 11 to pick from. If you go down and pick blue first, you still have all 7 reds, but only 11 to pick from. And if you pick blue, then you only got 4 blues left out of 11. Find the probability of both red. Well, that is the top one there. You multiply across the branches. So 7 times 6, which is 42. 12 times 11 is 132. Okay, next one we need to draw a tree diagram. We've got milk chocolates and we've got dark chocolates. 9 milks out of 15 and 6 dark chocolates out of 15. Okay, you're going to eat them, which means you're not replacing them. So if you pick a milk chocolate, you've then only got 8 milk chocolates out of 14 chocolates altogether. Or if you pick a milk on your first go, then out of the darks you've still got 6 dark chocolates, but you've only got 14 to pick from. If you pick a dark chocolate first, you still have all 9 milk chocolates, but you've only got 14 chocolates to pick from. If you pick a dark chocolate, you've only got 5 left out of 14. Right, probability that she takes 1 of each. Not milk followed by milk, not dark chocolate followed by dark chocolate. It's this one. These are going to give you 1 of each. So you times across your branches. So 9 times 6, so that's going to be 54. And then 15 times 14 is 210. This one, 6 times 9 is also 54 out of 210. And then you add these two fractions together. 54 add 54, so that's going to get you 108 over 210. You do not need to simplify your fraction down at all in your probability, so leave your answer like that. Okay, highest common factor 24 and 56. So you've got to do the factor trees. So 7 times 8, 24 and 56. So 7 times 8, 7 is a prime number. And then 2 times 4. And 4 is 2 times 2. 24, 4 times 6, 4 is 2 times 2, 6 is 2 times 3. Right, to get the highest common factor, you're going to, first of all, list them above that. So 56, we've got 2 times 2 times 2 times 7, and for 24 we've got 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So highest common factor are what are common to both. So you've got a pair of 2's, another pair of 2's, and another pair of 2's. So the highest common factor is 8. I am going to go on and do lowest common multiple as well. Lowest common multiple, you take your highest common factor and then times that by all the leftovers. So there's a leftover 7 and a leftover 3. Times them all together, the lowest common multiple is 168. Right, wanting to know when the lights will flash again, you're actually looking to find the lowest common multiple. So let's do our little factor tree. 3 times 5, and then for 18, 2 times 9, and then 3 times 3. Or you could just list them. You could list your 18 times tables, list your 15 times tables, and then see which number you get to first. That is another way to do this. So 15 is 3 times 5, 18 is 2 times 3 times 3. So you've just got 1, 3 that is common to both. So the highest common factor is 3. So then your lowest common multiple is that number times by the leftovers. Got a leftover 2, a leftover 3, and a leftover 5. So that looks like it should be 90. So the lowest common multiple is 90. So how many seconds until they flash again at the same time? 90. Right, highest common factor of two numbers is 4. Lowest common multiple of the two is 24. If 1 is 8. So let's see, we've got one of the numbers is 8. So if we break 8 down, you've got 2 times 4 and then 2 times 2. So we know 8 is going to be 2 times 2 times 2. We need to find what the other number is. Now what we do know is the highest common factor is 4. So they must have in common 2 times 2. So this number has to have a 2 times 2 in it because we need to be able to do that. So it's got to have 2 times 2, and then your lowest common multiple is 24. So if we break 24 down, you've got 4 times 6. I'm going to run out of space there, so I'm going to do it here. And then you've got 2 times 2, and then 2 times 3. So for the lowest common multiple, if I write that out, it's a 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. So remember, the highest common factor drops down here. So this tells you your leftovers. So there's a leftover 2 and a leftover 3. There's your leftover 2. So your leftover 3 must go here. So now if you times all these together, you're going to get this number here. 3 times 2, which is 6. 6 times 2. So it must have been 12. Now when you get onto version C for this question, it's wrong. It's an impossible thing to do. You'll end up with a decimal, so you might just want to scrap that one. Give it a go maybe, but you'll see why it doesn't work for question C. Okay. You have a table on your calculator function which you can use for all your quadratics. If you can't use it, then just do it the long way and substitute in -3, not forgetting your bracket, into all of this to get your other ones. However, if you do remember for your exam, it will really help you. So if you click mode and then press 2, and then you can put in your function. So it's x squared So you're going to now use your green buttons. So you're going to want to push alpha x, and then you're going to want to square it and add 2 lots of x, so alpha x, and then take away 3. Press equals. There isn't a function 2, so just press equals again. That means you're going to start when x is 0 and go up in steps of 1. So just press equals again for both of those. Oh, I made an error somewhere. Let me go back. Oh, I think my square didn't come out very well. Let me try again. So alpha x squared, there we go, I must have pressed the wrong number there, plus 2x minus 3. Don't need a second function. So there you have your answers. So when x is 0, y is minus 3. So when x is 0, y is minus 3. When x is 1, y is 0. When x is 2, y is 5. Now scroll down to get your next one. That's 12, and then scroll up to get your negative. So -1 is -4. Scroll up and up. There we go. Okay, so let's get these plotted. So -3, 0, -2, -3, -1, -4, 0, -3, 1, 0, 2, 5, and 3 is 12. When you plot these, sometimes you find one cross is out of the pattern. If that's the case, you've gone wrong. Find that on your table and give it another go. Now remember, when you join them up, you should use a pencil. No flat bottoms, so a nice curve. Join up every cross, no rulers, it is just a nice freehand curve, joining all those up. So join every cross together, a nice freehand curve. Okay, so give those a go for version B and version C, and then press play, pause, and then press play when you're ready. Okay, so here are your answers. 30, 9,030, 5,543 pounds 59, 19,741.75, 48,620, -6, 3x minus 5, x squared minus 6x add 9. Okay, 42 over 132. Looking at your tree diagram there, hopefully you got 140 over 272. Highest common factor was 4, lowest common multiple 144. Lowest common multiple 348. 11 o'clock. 10, 0, -2, -2, and 4. Join them up. Remember, no flat bottoms. Please create that curve at the bottom. And then version C, 80, 9,720. Oh, I've not calculated that one. So 5,000 times 1.05 to the power of 5. I'm in normal mode. So don't forget in your exam, hit mode, hit 0, take it back to normal mode. 5,000 times 1.05 to the power of 5. Okay, you can just read that one off. 6,381.41. 16,141.53. Haven't done the bottom one either. 20,000 times 1.04 squared. So you should have got 21,632. 19. 5x add 2. X squared minus 10x add 25. And then your last sets of questions, guys. 20 over 90. 90 over 182. 3 is the highest common factor, 270 LCM. Writing as products of primes. Now you should have circled the fact that you've got a common 2 and a common 3 to both. So the highest common factor is 6, but written as prime products is 2 times 3. That bottom one annoyingly was impossible. You end up with 37.5, which is a silly question really. So when you do it, you end up thinking that you need this 2 should be in your lowest common multiple list here. And it isn't, because 2 is not a factor of 75, so that question's a bit silly. You should have got 8, 0, -1, 0 and 8. Drawing them all up with a nice curve. Okay, well done guys. Good luck with the rest of your revision. Let me know if you need any help with anything else. Have a good day. Bye bye.